Going on a lipstick search. Oh, my eye cream.
I got this thing. This will work. This burns your lips.
Is it that bee venom?
Yeah, it's something that hurts really bad.
Why?
Because it makes your lips swole, which is hot.
Is that hot? Man, I love it when I talk about this.
Listen, men love it. And that's why you do everything.
Oh my God, I bet Henry notices when you have it on. You should start, this will be your new partner quiz. Be like, what's different about me? Coming in, what's different about me?
Are my
make him
lips
guess.
thin or swollen?
Or are they more swollen than usual?
Do they make you think of vaginal lips? Because that's the goal.
What you're aiming for, obviously. That's why you swole them up, right?
Yeah.
Like they're engorged.
I mean, I think that there is some psychology that says lipstick is supposed to suggest
Vulvic activities.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going to use this and really probably annoy my partner with it.
Glad I can help.
Thank you.
So I was trying to do a LARP as Elaine today because I really love pink fluffy dresses. So that's like right up my alley. But I was then trying to find her character in this episode is wearing an apron.
Yeah.
And I went through all of the many, many costumes that I have. And I don't have just a kitchen apron.
Well, also, all of Henry's aprons all have like weed leaves all over them.
Yes, your mother has made us beautiful
weed leaf aprons.
But the closest thing I had was this lab coat that says Dr. Shots on it.
Shots. Does that mean we're getting hammered today? Are we getting early morning hammered? Dr. Shots.
So I don't know if this works. Probably not. This doesn't really look like an apron.
No.
That's the closest
You're
thing
the chief of intoxication, though.
I have no kitchen adult aprons.
Well, yeah, you live to be dirty.
So I'm not a very good Elaine, is all I'm saying.
No, that's fine. But was Elaine actually cooking in this?
Yeah, she was kneading bread. Oh, she was baking.
Oh, yeah, she was baking.
She was kneading that bread.
I love Dr. Elaine Shots, though. I think that is, if she was the chief of intoxication, maybe she'd be having a little bit more fun.
I know, I'm saying, right?
Oh, but you're putting on a shrug instead.
Well, yeah, because I have these tattoos, and Elaine would not want them. My tattoo is a bare breast on it. She would be scandalized.
What about Nesta? I'm trying to be a Nesta.
Nesta would definitely get tattoos.
It's difficult to be a Nesta, especially sober. This is why I need Dr. Shots.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Dr. Shots, medicine woman.
We've got to have some fireball in this studio.
Oh God, please no. Please. My poor body. No, we must continue forth sober as we break down this part of the book. We are back, and we are, guess what? Inside of Morrigan.
Yes. I mean, I definitely would be if she allowed it. Oink! Uncle Wink!
Yeah, this is our first, I believe our first interaction inside of her head, even in I'm trying to think of any bonus chapters. No, I think this is it.
First time
up into more thoughts.
Let us inside.
We are again back into third person limited here. And we're hearing Moore's thoughts, and they're not super jazzed up initially.
Oh, is she having a difficult time?
She's having a day. That's because we've picked up from the last chapter where Rhys and Feyre were about to have sexual intercourse.
Whoa, what?
And they had to stop because the two of them plus Moore had a date to visit the Hewn City. And Moore interrupted them, if you remember that.
Man, I can't even get a plane ticket for later on in the day because then all day I'm just like, oh, but I can't do this. I've got a plane later. I can't do that. I've got to get on a plane later. So I can't imagine just be like, oh man, we're in the middle of having sex. Oh yeah, we got to go do this whole thing that we've been saying that we gotta go do. This difficult thing.
In fairness to you, a trip to LAX alone is like an hour. They winnow.
You're right. It would be different if I could winnow.
If only.
Think of how much anxiety would be taken out of traveling.
It is just the time-consuming part of it, truly.
Look at us as sisters. Sisters.
Except in this part, we're not speaking to each other.
Yeah, and we hate each other. And I'm drunk. Give me something to drink. Give me some Fireball. Man, you introduced Dr. Shots into my brain.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to deal with now. And just imagine that coffee's whiskey.
I do every day. I'm not, I guess we can get some. No, I'm not. Jackie, put it away. Put it down.
I can't.
What do we have to drive? What is it? The morning?
It's the morning, and we have to record so many other episodes today and stream later. Our life is really hard.
I know. I can't even start drinking at 11 a.m.
So they're in the Great Hall, and Morrigan is feeling very much like thorough disdain and fear, and she's putting a cold facade on her face in front of her father, as they tend to do in the Hewn City.
Daddy problems. Oh, that's where we already are. We already made it all the way down there. And the golden-haired male standing before her in the throne room, amongst the towering pillars carved with those scaled, slithering beasts. He had been created from it, thrived in it.
I was going to attach fan art of Kier here, but there doesn't seem to be any of it. And actually, I forget if I've already tried to do that. There's a couple characters in this series that just have zero fan art, which is notable because so many of the characters have thousands of fan arts.
Well, I don't think a lot of people, I think it really comes down to how horny for Kier are we.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, which is for the best, aren't horny for Kier.
True, but you'd think one person would have a mean daddy kink.
I mean, and that's the thing. Actually, as I'm saying this, I immediately take it back because I'm also the one that, like, at this point was already dreaming of Eris in a situation, and, like, I didn't know that much about him.
Eris is definitely, he comes across as less cruel. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody should be attracted to Kier. He nailed nails into his daughter and abandoned her. But nobody wanted to see what he looked like, I guess.
Wow.
But at the same time, though, okay, side note, when I was looking through images trying to find him, I came across a fan casting Pinterest that suggested the Daddario siblings for Dagden and Branagh. And I thought that was kind of brilliant.
Oh, yes, with their piercing eyes. Yes.
I think they'd be really good as the twins. Because they're kind of twin-like and they're pale and hot and could look fayish really easily.
And I guess they wouldn't even have to really kiss each other because it's only ever like
it's just inferred. Yeah. We don't have to watch them actually make out or anything.
Because I really I don't have that.
Oh, no.
I have
but
none of that. Natalie wants it. Didn't you hear everybody is saying that Natalie wants it to happen?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
I love it.
I will say I separately find them very attractive.
Yes.
A lot of people also seem to want Matthew Daddario as Azriel.
Yes, and I've also seen Reese too.
I can see that. I feel like he's closer to an Azriel.
Yes.
But I kind of like them cast as the twins. Anyway.
I just want to see those Pearson baby blues kissing on somebody, please.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have any genuine sex scenes with anybody. They kind of are just artists off camera, which is not sexy. But I think they'd be good for the part.
That's not sexy.
It's not sexy.
You heard it here first.
It's not sexy. Anyway, the passage I just talked about from chapter 6, Mor is standing in front of her father, and she, in her mind, is noting how he has those writhing beasts inside of him from the throne, that he thrives in being that kind of monster. But
everybody says that when they look at me too.
You have the writhing beasts.
She's got writhing beasts inside of her, and I'm like,
and you're just always wiggling.
And I'm always chained up. That's when they get all loosey goosey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all got to get back in the cage.
Yeah. And we have to also remember though that Reese technically has those beasts inside of him as well because his form resembles them and he lets the creature out.
I mean, but those are sexier than Kier's.
Well, I think maybe there's a lesson in there on tempering your darkness and making choices in life.
I guess that makes more sense than just thinking of the sexy beasts.
I mean, I like that better, really. In this chapter, we get a review of what happened to Morrigan as a teen, only this time from her personal recollection. So the incident, we'll call it. As they stand before her father, Mor reflects on how her father trashes Rhys while they're not actually there, calling him a half-breed, and it feels disgust. As Kier speaks with the High Lord and Lady, Mor is affected by Eris's presence enough at this meeting to be transported back in her memory to the 500-ish years ago when she was in the forest that day, conscious but mutilated, laying on the ground. And at one point, I forget who says it, I think it's in the next book, somebody says she was also naked, which is like, really? I don't know. I know that you're already nailed, but like that element of it adds such a sinister element to it. So she recalls looking up from the ground and seeing Eris appear over her, and we're privy to their interaction for the first time. We've already learned so much of what happened that day, and I think this is an interesting study on how Mass builds her books up because, as you may recall, she had initially written this book, Frost and Starlight, as a way for her to learn about the secondary characters for herself. So it seems like she was almost working through that scene with Morrigan. And in that scene, Eris leaves her there, but we actually don't see him do anything or like do any of the harm to her. So while she hates him and we don't have a positive view of Eris, I personally have always felt like he was going to be on a redemption arc from the beginning. We learn more about that interaction throughout the books.
Well, he's another one of these shades of gray where it's like you just keep learning. So it's like, okay, he's evil. But then you find out these more like these little parts of him that she just like sprinkles through the books that like she's so good at character building.
I do love how
that
she
you
builds
just like, but then why do I not just like Kier? We hate Kier.
Yeah, there's no redeeming Kier.
No, there's nothing that we like about him whatsoever. But there's just something about Eris that the entire time you're just like, it's a sense of obligation. It's a sense of like, not saying that he's like a great guy.
No.
I don't want to like hang out with him and like, I don't know, ride
Kiss
a
him or,
carousel
like,
with him. Yeah. Kissing on the carousel.
Kissing on that carousel horses would be kind of
It would be
fine,
difficult, but isn't it cute when you're going up and down and then you try to kiss when you're at the same spot?
So maybe you are thinking about that with Eris a little bit.
Just like a little bit. But then I'd be like, but I hope nobody sees us on the carousel.
Yeah, it would be a secret kissing.
Yes.
Secret carousel kissing.
Oh my God, isn't that everything?
But yes, you're right. Like, and I can't remember if we've read it already or if it's in the next book. So I don't want to say, but there is something that I feel like it was in the last book, that he adds an element to this story which suggests that he didn't just abandon her in the forest that day, that there was more to it. Feyre notices that Mor is somewhere else in her mind and nudges her to get her to pay attention. And we're brought back to the present conversation where Rhys and Feyre are in their full regalia for the hewn city, acting cold and unmoved as they speak with Kier.
The problem is that like their hewn city outfits are like arguably their hottest fits.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And it makes me sad because like I don't want to like I want to dream about them in the hewn city outfits, but I don't want them in the hewn city. And so that screws up my brain.
Well, I mean, just keep thinking about that first interaction they had in the hewn city.
Wowie. Oh, I'll never forget it.
So Mor chides herself for still being stuck on this memory so many centuries later. But, you know, to her benefit, I will imagine that with the constant wars and the Wicked Queens and all that stuff, I imagine therapy gets put off a lot.
Yeah, I think
there's always some other battle.
Yes, she's been doing a lot of other things since, and it's okay that you're still caught up on. Man, I am caught up on things that much less happened from many years ago that I'm like, I never talked to that person ever again, and they just like maybe were dissing me slightly. I think it's okay that she's still upset about this.
Oh, not getting dissed?
Yeah, because someone had the audacity to diss.
Wow. Wow.
I'm such a Miss Piggy.
Wow.
Searching for truffles. I'd be so good as a truffle pig, but we won't go down that road.
I wish we had a truffle pig. I love truffles.
What if we get one in the family and it's me?
No.
I'm the family's truffle pig.
We need you to make content.
Okay, all right. I think I'd make a lot more money if I found truffles, though.
I mean, it would be a good side hustle.
That's what I'm going to stop scrapbooking. I'm going to pick up truffle hunting instead.
No, not with a pig. I'm going to sniff them out.
Yeah, I'll find it. Get me some big rubber boots. I don't know what
You got a lot of learning
a
to do.
sifter. You got a lot of learning to do.
So in this moment, even though it was, so many centuries later, she finds herself spiraling, almost regressing in front of these men who hurt her. And I definitely can relate to that. I consider personally myself pretty comfortable standing up for myself at this point in my life. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't always the case, especially like the first half of my life. And sometimes if I accidentally find myself in front of one of those people from my past, I become a little bit of like a stuttering, helpless kid again because your mind just like kind of retreats.
Snaps you back in the same way when you're like, when you go home for too long and then all of a sudden you're like, ugh, and you like slam a door. And when was the last time you slammed a door? You know?
I got to get out of here.
I got to go. If I start acting like a 16-year-old, I got to go.
You start climbing out your window. You're like, what? I can use the door.
Smoking cigarettes again just because
I'll
I'm a
do
rebel.
what I want. That I hate when that shit happens. It's really annoying, but it happens to most people, or some people at least. Moore seems to be feeling this way in these moments, and she can't bring herself to her full emotional height, if you will. Mm-hmm. Though we are listening in on this conversation between all the leaders present, the purpose of this chapter seems more to be for us to learn how Morrigan is feeling inside during these forced interactions she has to have with her family. Because we're not really getting a ton of new information here. It's more about just like hearing her.
Moore glanced toward Keir and found him watching her. Save for her initial order to the steward, she had not spoken a word. Contributed to this meeting, stepped up. She could see that in Keir's eyes, the satisfaction.
Say something. Think of something to say to strip him down to nothing. But she can't. She can't do it, and she feels shame for it.
Her red gown flowing behind her, Moore turned her back on him, on the smirking heir to autumn, and followed her high lord and lady through the darkness and back into the light.
I like that image of her red gown flowing behind her.
Ooh, just she's a goddess.
Yeah.
But that's also, it's so hard when you're like in those situations and you go back in time into the feelings of feeling like you're lesser than and that you're below someone, and just like everything in you is just like, ooh, just like rip them apart. Ooh, say something, and you just can't.
It's that little part just really gets itself, it like lodges into you for your whole life sometimes.
Oh, Moore, I feel for you, baby.
Moore's gonna have her day. We're back in the next chapter. We're back in Rezan's first person, and he's highly agitated as Azriel delivers the news that there are more Illyrians attempting to rebel than they had estimated. Though Azriel wants to deal with it right now, Rhys tells him to wait until after the holiday, mostly for the sake of Cassian, who he insists take a break from his war camp duties to spend time with their family.
Everyone is on vacation.
We're all on vacation.
It is the holidays.
Did you hear Henry?
I did. I could feel Henry being like, no, we will deal with this. We are on vacation.
And we're gonna like it. As they talk,
I felt Henry course through my veins.
As they talk, Rhys thinks about how strange Azriel's shadow gifts are, and that they are not from his Illyrian heritage. In fact, no one is super sure about where or why he got them regarding his shadow skills. I don't know if we'll ever learn exactly why he has the shadows, but it is interesting that he has this like unique power that shadows seem to like speak with him and move around him like animate objects.
It comes from listening to like a lot of My Chemical Romance. You know?
I mean, I tell you,
And
I
then
think
all of
that
a sudden, yeah,
he's the embodiment of Welcome to the Black Parade.
it comes out of the speakers and just like covers him in shadow, and he can just feel it. And now he's just
Gerard Way wishes he had animated shadows around his shoulders. Oh, he would have come.
he would definitely come, just like he'd look at himself in the mirror and go like, oh, I'm the shadowiest boy that's ever lived.
This rebellion of these Illyrians that the Azrael's reporting on seems to be stemming from the great number of lives lost to the last battle they had. As we talked about last episode, something that Rhys and Cassian and Azrael caused the death toll because they were trying to exact revenge for the treatment of them as children. And to their soldiers, to that I say, project much, Illyrians?
Well, there's
because you act like that?
Yes, and they're certainly not talking about their feelings, so they gotta get it out somehow.
They think because they treat people badly that everybody else is like them and treats people badly, but that's not what the Bat Boys do.
No, they talk about their feelings.
Mm-hmm. And also in this chapter, Rhys mentions that none of them can figure out how to get the curse off of Vassa. Even Helion has never seen anything like it, as though the curse was, quote, woven into her very blood. So she's still a bird. That's a bird.
Yeah, she a bird lady, but isn't it nice to fly far, far, far away from here? But she can't even.
She's stuck.
Nah.
We need Forrest.
Jenny.
We need Forrest to drain the pond for her.
No.
Then I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're sisters.
We've both seen Forrest Gump hundreds of times.
Yes. Remember when he takes his face and it's got mud and then it's the smiley face shirt? Remember that
Oh,
part?
yes. For a second, I was like, are you talking about Castaway with the ball? No, I know what you're saying. He created the smiley face.
The smiley face.
When their discussion turns towards Lucien, Rhys is surprised to learn that Azrael doesn't know that Lucien is away right now.
I winked at him.
You're my spy master, shouldn't you know?
Az crossed his arms, face as elegant and cold as the legendary dagger at his side.
I don't make a point of looking after his movements. Why?
Not a flicker of emotion.
He's Elaine's mate.
I waited.
It would be an invasion of privacy to track him.
To know when and if Lucien sought her out, what they did together.
Sure about
that? I asked
I had to
quietly. You have to.
Sure about
that? I get it. I'm hip. I understand. Yes, I've seen it on the TikToks. I asked quietly. Azrael's siphons guttered, the stones turning as dark and foreboding as the deepest sea.
Where did Lucien go? Interesting.
Oh, he doesn't want to know about what happens to Elaine's maid. I wonder why.
I wonder what Rhys-on means.
Somebody's got a crush, and somebody cries while he's all alone, with only the shadows to see his tears.
He does something else while he's alone if you read the bonus chapter.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, man, I just felt my jaw come unhinged like I was an anacondita just ready to suck down some eggs.
What eggs?
The eggs of other anaconditas.
Oh, got it.
I was more thinking about the movie Anaconda. Let's be real.
That was I was watching the first time I made out with a boy.
Wow. Were you like really more focused on Anaconda though?
I saw it in 0% of that movie.
Hell yeah, girl!
I still don't know.
Good makeout.
I still don't know what the movie's about.
Yeah.
I assume a snake.
Yes, I love to hear. That's a good makeout right there.
Yeah. He was a little jerk off. But then he like made me really sad. It broke my heart. And then like 10 years ago, he DM'd me on Facebook just saying, I really want to apologize for how I treated you. And he was like 15 years old at the time. So I was like, that's really nice of you. Thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you think, was this like the round of apologies, you think?
I don't know. Like, he didn't do anything that was so out of turn that it was like, he needed to beg for forgiveness. He just did a teenage boy
there's
thing.
Plenty of other people that have hurt me way worse that never apologize.
No, he just sort of like unceremoniously dumped me.
Yeah, he was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just being a 15-year-old.
So he was just like, he just said because he was he turned into like, I think he was like kind of a problem kid for a while, and then he's like married and happy and stuff. And he was just like, I just really want to apologize. I was really troubled at the time. And
wow, look at that growth.
So Bill Ryan, thank you for that message. That was really nice.
Thank you so much. I wonder what else he feels guilty about.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
So let's see. So after they try to shift their talk a little bit, and it turns towards the impending holiday, and Asriel hesitantly asks whether he's supposed to buy the sisters presents, which I thought was endearing, because they go from discussing global domination and war to being nervous about buying presents for girls.
Which is so cute. I'll take a present.
Well, I think Asriel doesn't want to buy presents for them. He's scared.
Of course. I mean, as you should be. Can you imagine buying a present for Nesta? I'd be like, I mean, she's going to hate it anyway.
Nobody's buying Nesta some presents this year.
No. But then also, how is Elaine going to react? Oh, thank you. I cannot hold it. She just falls out of the chair.
Oh, she's having her spells.
So I wouldn't want to buy either one of them presents either. No. Like, no, I'd rather. How about we just skip it this year?
We do find out the bad boys buy presents for specific sisters, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So Rhys says, don't worry, just let the sisters exchange gifts amongst themselves, to which Az is relieved. Then Rhys reveals that he intends on visiting the spring court this week. Ooh. He doesn't want to, but he has to assess whether Tamlin is willing to let his boarders go unwatched, as he is doing right now, and what risk that would pose to both humans and Fae alike. So he's got to go on some lord business.
I'm scared for him.
Rhys is going to be okay.
I know, just like think about how he strode into the spring court during like the first book, and just like with that like swagger and that confidence. Good Lord. Back when like we first fell in love with him. Ooh. So I just dream about that. Let's dream about the confidence with which he is going to enter the spring court.
Oh, we will. But first we're back to Cassian.
Okay. Our himbo.
He's our himbo with a heart of gold. He's in the camps, wrapping up his duties before he returns to fulfill Rizan's request to come home for the holidays. This time, however, we're entering a different sort of area of Illyria, their shopping district.
Cassian going shopping! I just would love a shopping montage where he's just like got a bunch of bags and just...
It's like a xylophone playing. Well, it's as much shopping district as these extremely straight military males will allow.
True.
So only necessities. And Cassian is heading for a clothier. And here we meet a new character that just might return again. She's an Illyrian female, something we've really only heard about so far, not really met or spoke to. The females don't have a lot of personal autonomy in this part of their world, so Cassian is slightly surprised to find one operating a store alone. Cassian knew this shop to be owned by a male named Proteus. But this younger female is not cowering or meek, despite his noticing that her wings have been clipped. This was a practice that Rizan had banned, but when he was under the mountain, many Illyrian males returned to this tradition, which I believe we learned last book. So that the females wouldn't be able to fly away. If you'll recall, Rizan's mother was held kicking and screaming, about to be clipped, when his father appeared and their mating bond clicked in, thus saving her wings. This female stands there, even clipped, and holds his gaze.
It reminded him of Nesta. That stare. Yeah, I've got it too.
That's like, what is the voice?
This
Oh,
is
okay.
me doing the stare because I'm Nesta giving the
Oh, right.
glare. Frank and unsettling. Don't call me Frank, she said. Sorry, I'm goofing through the read. Okay, frank and unsettling,
Proteus was my father.
she said, untying her white apron to reveal a simple brown dress before she emerged from behind the counter. Was,
I'm sorry.
he said.
He didn't come home from the war. Cassian feels shame and guilt at this, but she waves it off. She doesn't seem particularly bummed about it, to be honest.
I mean, if she's clipped, right, I'd be pretty upset.
And she's, bold enough to be running the shop where they try to, prevent females from having their own shit.
Mm-hmm.
She informs him that this shop is hers now and that her name is Emery. And she's Proteus's daughter. Almost in a challenging way. Trying to push her chest up, being like, and what of it?
Yeah, I'm
my
running this
now.
shop. I run this shop. Yeah, he was my father. That ass is dead. I should have said ass is grass. Damn it.
Because she doesn't maybe know Cassian, and she knows that it's uncommon for a female to own their own business, but she don't know Cassian gets a hard-on for independent females. An emotional hard-on.
Yeah, sure, that's the only kind of hard on. Yeah, boss. Yeah, you tell him, yeah. She doesn't get hard any other kind of way, boss. Yeah. Man, I would love to be your thieving sidekick.
That'd be fun.
I'd be so bad at the thieving part of it, but I'd also be a thief with a heart of gold.
Yeah, we'd have to do some. We can only be like Robin Hood types, I think.
This is because I just started playing D&D for the first time, I think.
Yeah, you're really getting into it.
Oh, I'm a nerd girl now. Oh no, I talk about Faye all day, and then I play D&D. I roll my die into the night.
So we go, I'm just like a dork.
I don't even know. Oh no, my breasts fell out.
I'm such a nerd. I'm so awkward.
I'm just like not like the other girls. It's just always making that noise.
So hot.
So hot.
And girls sound like tea kettles.
Oh, yes, but like a little dinosaur-ish too, because that's awesome.
That's so hot. Tiny little hands.
Yeah.
Like
the
T-Rex
clawed,
hands.
Yeah.
It certainly seems like your shop.
He said at last, turning his attention back to her. Emery had drifted a few feet away, her back straight, chin upraised. He'd seen Nesta in that particular pose, too. He called it her I will slay my enemies pose. Oh, is it like this? Yes, cupped hands for attack. Man, yeah, that's your attack stance, right? I know Jackitsu over here.
Jackitsu.
I'll put liquid at you. I'll cup it at you. But then you always got to be pouring liquid. It's
Hang on a second.
And then you're wet. Ha ha.
He goes on to list several other of her postures and he has named them. This is to say,
someone's paying attention.
someone is studying Nesta an awful lot.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I love you, Jackie, but I don't have names for different ways that you stand.
Yeah, but Cassian would. Where's my himbo? I think
I call this her hair beads.
Yeah.
Hair beard stance.
And I go, ho, ho, ho. Oh, we don't have a Santa here. I am just an old fat man.
They don't have Santa.
No, Santa's here.
They have Solstice Sam. Solstice Samson.
Solstice Samson. It's difficult to say, so you can't say it too fast, but
Can't say it too often.
no.
Anyway, Cassian is here this day because he wants to buy out Emery's store. She's confused and tells him that she doesn't need his charity. But he says that's not what he's doing. He gives her a little more money and asks her to take her stock around to the camp and give to those who may need new clothes and can't pay for them. Because Cassian, again, is a himbo with a heart of gold. He's probably remembering his days of poverty, starvation, and cold in this very camp. After assessing Cassian and deeming him trustworthy, she agrees to do as he says.
I mean, he is doing a little bit of a Richard Gere here right now. I mean, he comes in and is just like, give me the whole shop.
Are you talking about Pretty Woman?
Yeah, a little bit. A little Pretty Woman, because, I mean, not that he bought the whole shop, but, like, he just comes in and, like, gets everybody on the house, which is kind of sexy. Have you ever bought a whole, like, a round for everybody on the house?
If I have, I'm sure I have, but you know.
Yeah, but that's when it's like 3 people and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and everyone.
Yeah.
That's when you buy
I've
the
never
round.
bought everybody in a place. It's usually supposed to be for a celebration.
Yeah, I think that's a dream of mine to come in and be like, this round's on me, to like a huge bustling bar, and everyone goes, hip, hip, hooray, and everyone cheers me.
How would they even figure out everybody who was there and if they only got one drink and like all that? That would be complicated.
Yeah, I
the
guess I'd
bartender
have to
would be
hand
like,
out. That's it. The bartender's gonna be upset, but maybe I hand out my own tickets.
Your own tickets.
Yeah, I'll start traveling places with tickets. I'll know that I'm gonna do it. I'll plan for it, and then I'll hand out tickets.
Yeah, scrip. I think that was called scrip in Pennsylvania. When you would, you'd like go to a carnival and you have to pay in like tickets instead of.
Man, y'all, you've got your own, you Pittsburghians and all y'all, you've got your own words. You've got your yins, you've got your scrip.
And chip ham.
Whoa, wait, tell me more about chip ham.
I'm surprised I've never made you to eat it there. It's very popular.
Is it like Spam?
It's very
like Taylor
finely
ham?
chopped up ham. It's like sort of.
Is it like a slaw?
I haven't
you're
eaten meat in like 20 years.
Yeah, you're a vegetarian. I'm asking the wrong one. Somebody sell me on this chip ham.
Chipped ham.
Oh, chipped ham. Chipped ham. It's been chipped.
Oh, and Nebby. That was another one that I think is local.
What does that mean again?
Nosy.
Yeah, you nibbing a bat.
Being Nebby. So she agrees to do this task that he requests. It's apparent that Cassian, in these moments, takes a liking to this female, and Emery, at the very least, is tolerant of him. He feels sadness internally for her destroyed wings, but doesn't let it appear on his face. As he leaves, he thinks to himself that if this female and Nesta ever met, it might be a whole other book.
I don't want to see that book. But then also, like, can you imagine what he's dreaming of? Talk about the fan art that Cassian is dreaming of right now. Of the 3 of them just having a time.
Nice.
Ugh, my wig keeps falling off. It's like my body knows I'm not Nesta. My body knows. It's just like, you're not. I know you love Cassian, but he doesn't want you, girl. And I'm like, please, if I could just glue it onto my head, maybe he'll love me.
I think it's because Nesta's spirit is in you and she's saying, Jackie, my hair doesn't come down till the next book. It's always up in braids.
That's true.
It's always like this. It's always braided up. Yeah.
Oh. Maybe that's also a problem. Like, you got to let your hair down, girl. You know, it's
probably
like when
hurts.
it's up all the time. Yeah, it hurts your scalp.
That's probably why she's so mad.
Yeah, let it down. Let your hair down.
Chapter 9, and we're back to Feyre's first person. When we last left her, she had met her green friend, Racina.
If you recall,
over here. And at this chapter, she's trying to work up the courage to join Racina's aforementioned painting group. Or I guess courage is not the right word. She's just not feeling it. She doesn't know why, though. At this moment, she's standing out in the bustling holiday streets of Valaris in the evening as citizens rush from shop to shop, consuming.
Yeah, she doesn't even think for a second, like, maybe it has something to do with the insane power dynamic here.
And also she hasn't painted in so long, and she just
because for her it's all about the painting, but in reality it's like, well, it's also like, you know, she's gonna give you whatever you want because you're the high lady, and I feel like she's not even thinking about that.
Yeah, I think that would also be uncomfortable to just be like everybody being like, hi,
whatever you need, whatever you want.
As though Reese can feel her nerves, he reaches out over the bond to check in on her. They have a sweet exchange where he proves to be a caring and doting partner, as well as sexually arousing her with an image of their first joining on the paint table at the cabin.
Man, that's always what I want. I would be so annoyed. I'd be like, now is not the time. I am nervous about something and I don't want to think about just fucking right now. And I know that in other instances, but come on. Sometimes there's a time and a place.
But that's kind of the fun part about this fantasy world of the Fae is that they're so sexually driven to one another that they're always just ready to throw down, which is fun. It's a fun fantasy. Maybe not in real life it would be as good. I think that's called sex addiction, which I've heard is not fun for people.
No. Yeah, no. It takes a lot of the fun out of it.
But I like it in this pretend land.
Yes.
Through their conversation, talking through her thoughts with him, she realizes what felt off about this going to this painting group together. And she tells him she knows what she needs to do now, and they part brain ways. Then there's a cut to Feyre now standing inside the boarded up gallery that she had stood outside with Rosina the other evening. It's dark and empty, but
it had probably been lovely before the attack. A massive window faced southward, letting in endless sunshine, and skylights, also boarded up, dotted the vaulted ceiling. The gallery in the front was perhaps 30 feet wide, 50 feet deep, with a counter against one wall halfway back, and a door to what had to be the studio space, or storage in the rear.
Feyre smells the ghost of paints throughout the room.
You turned into a truffle pig too? I'm a paint. Yeah, someone give me that paint.
Much less useful pig because old paint doesn't really do anything for anyone.
Much.
So she smells all of the gallery past and becomes invigorated and inspired. She realizes that her first time back in the saddle, she needed to go it alone. We continue on as Feyre in chapter 10. We've jumped time to late that same evening, and she's been busy. She feels a release and a soothing meditation in the painting, and it seems to realize how important the practice is to her healing journey. The journey.
Creating. Sometimes you just got to create. You got to get it out of your body.
Gotta get it out. As the clock strikes midnight, she lowers her brush and looks at what she's painted. It's her.
Just Reese's dick. Just like realistic. And she's just like, I have to have.
No, she looks back at what she's painted, and it's her as she saw herself in the Ouroboros.
No, this is much more important, Jackie.
But with a big dick.
But with a big dick. And she's like, I don't know where that came from.
Though she's not willing to show this painting to anyone, there's a therapeutic aspect to this decision to paint this out. She leaves it there in the gallery to dry. Then we're back with Reese. Chapter 11, and the time to visit the spring court has arrived.
We're scared.
Reese notes that the court he's seen for so many centuries is gone, and what remains is ruin.
The house itself had looked better the day after Amarantha's cronies had trashed it.
Even the flowers have stopped blooming around the estate. It seems he's taken the full form of the beast in the tale.
Yep, it's just like the thorny vines everywhere.
Usually that happens in the story before the girl shows up.
Yeah.
This time the girl did it.
Uh-oh.
As for Tamlin himself, Reese sees no sign of him or anyone at all. Still, he knocks on the door and puts on his most arrogant face.
I wasn't sure what to remark on. The haggard male before me or the dark house behind him.
He's going through some stuff.
The problem is, I bet he does look really hot.
He's still, he's not gross.
You know he looks good. When
like
he's
with
all
that 5 o'clock shadow?
Yeah, and then he's like, his hair is all like undone and tousled, and you're just like, oh, you look too good.
Reese kisses him.
Yes! Oh my God. Talk about something I haven't actually dreamed about, but I could.
I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Rhys holds back, though, seeing how he wants to, like, mock him, but he stops himself, seeing how truly pitiful Tamlin is in this state. He feels as though it would be quite the punch down. But still he fantasizes about slaughtering him where he stands. Ultimately, though, he's here on a mission of peace. Not for Tamlin's sake or even his own, but for the people of the lands.
The people of the lands need you, Rhys!
They need the Spring Court to be in some kind of order. Tamlin knew that he would be appearing this day thanks to Lucien notifying him. And as he leads Rhys through the manor, he's like not surprised by Rhys's presence. Rhys notes as they walk all of the shattered furniture and shredded paintings, which is the quote from the book, which is quite literally that beginning of Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
The slash through the painting. Yes.
This chapter describes a male broken. And I really flip-flop on whether Rhys and Feyre are being too harsh on Tamlin. I know that he scared her and was cruel in certain ways to her and ignored her needs, but I would also add that it never felt pointed, more like clueless.
Shades of Grey.
And he saved their lives multiple times.
Yeah.
But he also sold them out to Hybern.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But he was also playing the long game, so I don't know. And like, yes, as a partner, 100%. Never go back to someone like that you don't stay with someone like that. But as someone in need that you have to like deal with, you know, you get more flies with honey.
I just always think back to that moment where he like gave her his wind.
Yes, to like get her through.
And then like followed like slow motion. Like he helped her. And then he gave his kernel to Rhys. And said, be happy.
Yes. And he gave his kernel to Feyre, too. I mean, I know that was, you know, a different time, but, like, that's 2 kernels.
That's 2 whole-ass kernels from him.
It's not a lot of popcorn, but it's a lot of life.
It is. Rhys is there to tell Tamlin that he will supply soldiers to guard his borders, which, of course, this news doesn't go well to Tamlin. With Tamlin. Both men are barely able to have a conversation without beheading one another. And Tamlin makes sure to let Rhys know that the only reason his borders aren't guarded is because his precious mate destroyed his court. Rhys
We know.
Rhys is taken back in his mind to the days when their 2 fathers had exacted revenge against one another, and they each played their own part, both of the sons and both of the fathers, that he can never forgive Tamlin for being there when his father took Rhys's mother's and sister's lives. Though I don't really know what Tamlin could have done about it at the time.
It's
compy. It's complicated. As Tamlin continues to argue,
that is how Elaine would say it.
It's complicated. Oh, yeah, just a baby.
I'm just a little baby. I can pay with blocks.
I can pay with blocks. Oh my God, we're such TikTokers over here.
Oh, that's a very funny meme. As Tamlin continues to argue with Rhysand, Rhys gets up to leave because he knows he can't control his temper for much longer. But he informs Tamlin that he has brought all of this on himself. He goads him, trying to get a rise out of Tamlin, telling him he plans on leaving him here to rot alive. But even as Tamlin begins to rise to the occasion, his rage grows. Suddenly his eyes become deadened again, and he simply quietly tells Rhys to get out. Rhys realizes how truly broken Tamlin is, and as he's leaving, he feels something that might be akin to actual pity.
Tamlin didn't have shields around the house, none to prevent anyone from winnowing in, to guard against enemies appearing in his bedroom and slitting his throat. It was almost as if he was waiting for someone to do it.
And that makes me feel sad.
Like he's not even taking care of himself for a second. And again, so like when I first read through this, I was definitely more into like, that's what you fucking get. That's it. Oh, you made your bed and I'm gonna lie in it. But now in the rereading of it, I do have more sympathy for him.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. But right now, I do feel really bad for him. 1 second.
Oh.
Later, Rhys is back in Valaris and finds Feyre amidst the throngs of shoppers. They walk together.
Shopping montage.
They walk together along the Sidra and they discuss Rhysand's visit to the Spring Court. Rhys admits that he couldn't be civil with Tamlin, and that alone made him feel like a failure. As Feyre consoles and then pokes fun at him, he marvels at her face and the light in her eyes, cherishes her smile. He tells her to work on his nude portrait and that he'll meet her back at the house.
Begging for it over here, right? But she's got to draw her demons for a while.
That's not sexy.
No.
Actually, I bet her demon's kind of sexy.
Yeah, but I mean, to a monster fucker like me, it'd be like, wow.
Whoa. Like, lift your sunglasses up.
Hubba bubba.
Oh, yeah. So he's still... We cut over to Rhys has still not gotten Feyre presents for Solstice on her birthday, and he feels at a bit of a loss. Though it seems more that he wants it to be just right and not because he doesn't know her well enough to pick something. He just like feels, I don't know, maybe like a little bit frozen on like, how can I make this present correct? Even though she doesn't want presents.
No.
As he looks through the stores in the Palace of Thread and Jewels, he thinks about the cuffs of diamonds that he had given her long ago.
She'd worn them only twice. That night I had danced with her until dawn, barely daring to hope that she might be starting to return a fraction of what I felt for her. And the night we'd returned to Valaris, after that final battle with Hybern, when she had worn only those cuffs.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would be so scared to own something like that.
I mean-
I'd be so scared to wear it. I'd be like, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think wearing it during sex would be fun, though.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you kept it only for that. I think that would be the only time because I'd be like, I know
Put
it's
on
in
your
this
sex
room.
cuffs.
You put on your sex cuffs. You know, that everyone's got their own certain, accessories that they use. So just keep it among those.
Put on your sex top hat.
Yeah, monsieur. That's me wearing the top hat.
Just the cuffs and the top hat.
Yes.
But even at this pleasant memory that he's having of that night, he knows that Feyre's not really a jewels kind of gal. So instead, he, with the help of this shadowy store owner whose eyes, quote, glowed like coals, pick out a trove of big fat jewelry pieces for Amren, his second, who had given so much during the last battle. We're back with Feyre now, the next chapter, just a short time after this instance in the jewelry store, and she's indeed returned home to await Rhys, though I don't think she's worked on his nude portrait.
No, she's too busy with her shopping montage.
Instead, she's faced with Cassian, who has dragged in a load of, I presume, dirty pine boughs to decorate the townhouse for the holiday.
There's a bunch of squirrels inside of the house. We're like, God damn it, Cassian, why didn't you clean off the branches first?
I bought decorations.
Just the whole tree.
Pine boughs, of course, being an ancient tradition Earthside, predating Christianity by many centuries. That's right, folks. Your Christmas tree is a pagan tradition.
Yes, bring your tree inside. Let's dance around it. Yeah.
That, depending on what area of the world or what time, usually represented the hope for the return of spring or the worship of trees and plants. And it makes sense as it's one of the trees that remains green in the winter, i.e. evergreen trees, which it would have represented a reminder that the nights will return to shorter again. Like we've beaten the long nights of winter and spring is going to come back. In this here scenario, Feyre is still getting accustomed to the holiday traditions of the Fae and looks at Cassian like he's nuts. This is a very sweet chapter where we get to experience Cassian and Feyre just being themselves.
Yeah.
The true holiday bottle episode.
I'm here for it.
I know,
though.
I love it. I love a holiday episode. Cassian drops the pine boughs, and as he's been away at the Illyrian camps for a time, greets Feyre like as he hasn't seen her and sweeps her up laughing.
Wow. Cassian was on me in a second, hoisting me off the ground to twirl me until I was going to be sick. I beat at his chest, cursing at him.
She's surprised to see him out of his leathers and in a black shirt and jacket.
Ooh, and he just got off of a motorcycle, and ooh, he's much bigger than he used to be. Ooh, why don't you take me for a ride, soldier? And then I get on the back of his hog, and you never see me again.
Where are you going?
I'm going with Cassian. We're gonna go have sex on his hog.
Forever?
Yeah, forever, man. It's going to be just like the end. I know that I've brought it up before. Center stage. It's going to be just like that. We're going to like dance onto the motorcycle, and then he's going to take me away. Yeah.
Make me feel. Actually, at the end of that dance, though, she doesn't choose either man. She chooses herself.
Boring. I'm choosing the man. No, it's nice to choose yourself too.
Whatever.
It's good for you.
But yes, I imagine he looks very nice in this.
I imagine. Yes. Yeah.
She asks whether he wants hot cocoa or wine.
Cassian curved a wing around me, turning us toward the cellar door.
How many good bottles does little Reese have left? The chapter cuts to a couple hours later. Cassian and Feyre having drunk 2 bottles of wine and attempted to decorate the house to limited success. Azriel appears and in typical sad boy fashion sighs and begins to try to straighten up the mess that Cass and Feyre have made while they sit and laugh at him.
He's so cute. He just wants his order. I get it.
Finally, Cassian tells him to stay a while and get into the holiday with some wine and cookies, to which I say, I'll be there.
Yes, please.
Feyre echoes her request for him to sit down and drink with them.
He glared at me, then the bottle, then Cassian, and finally stormed across the room, took the bottle from my hand, and chugged the rest. Cassian grinned with delight.
They deserve their time to smile.
Yeah, they're having just a drinks time.
I know some people say this book is like the least, it's obviously the least action heavy, but I do like these chapters where you get to just see them exist.
It just puts a smile on my face, and then like you hold on to these moments when things get hard. It's just like life, okay? You have to experience, you have to live. You gotta take life by the horns and say, baby, why don't you buck me? This is speaking as someone that just wrote a mechanical penis a couple of weekends ago. So I know, except there's no handles on a mechanical penis. It's very difficult to hold on to, and boy, do you get bucked.
I wish that it had like a hose at the front that when you fell, like squirted.
It's squirted, just like foam everywhere. Honestly, that would be awesome. I guess it would be disgusting. Can you imagine how sticky everything would be? Like
if you did like soap bubbles like they do at like nightclubs, I think.
Yeah, and then you get hosed down afterwards, and you're just like,
So the 3 of them are all drinking and hanging out. And then Reese appears and joins in on the joking and the general frivolity. It's really a charming scene, which again, I'd love to see this acted out.
Yeah.
On his heels, Mor arrives, followed by Amren. Cassian teases Amren for wearing a giant fur coat, that she looks like a snowball, and she needles him about how he's going to feel when, quote, Nesta Archeron is coming for Solstice in 2 days.
Man, also, what fashion. Amren just shows up just in this big white fur coat. Hell yes.
Love it. Because, yes, that's right. Even though they're gathering already, there's still a couple days left until actual solstice night, so they're sort of doing the ramp up to the evening. Everyone is a little bit tense that now that Amren and Cassian are kind of going at each other, which they tend to do a lot anyway. Amren continues to taunt Cassian until Reese steps in and shuts it down. Though we're all still slightly afraid of Amren, she lets it drop by announcing, Varian's coming, so deal with it.
Yes.
She's got a total boyfriend.
Everybody's totally getting laid for the solstice.
Not everybody.
No, not everybody.
A lot of people are. As the evening continues, Feyre reflects, I assume drunkenly, as she's already had at least 1 bottle of wine, on how everyone was here except for one. Elaine is busy in the kitchen helping Nuala and Saradwin prepare the evening's feast, which only left Nesta absent from
It's
the
not
party.
like you're making any bread, Natalie. It's
No,
not-
I'm
you don't even have an
Dr.
apron
Schatz.
on. Dr. Schatz is here. Although if Dr. Schatz showed up in this scene, very welcome addition.
Oh, yeah, perfect for this night. As Feyre enters the busy kitchen, she asks Elaine if she's spoken to Nesta.
Elaine straightened from the piping hot loaves of bread she'd hauled from the oven, her hair half up, the apron calling her Dr. Schatz over her rose-pink gown dusted with flour. She blinked, her large brown eyes clear.
Who wants shots?
Yeah, it's me.
No, she says. No, I told her to join us tonight and to let me know when she's decided. I didn't hear back.
I can pay with blocks.
I can pay you in blocks. When Feyre presses Elaine further, Elaine becomes unusually terse and final. If Nesta doesn't want to be here, then she doesn't have to be here.
Oh, that's a drunk girl response. Go ahead, fine. Don't. I don't give a shit.
But Elaine's sober.
I know. Oh, yeah. Even Elaine doesn't. This is around the time when I know that, like, I'm dressing as her, and I think it's because I want her to deal with some of her issues. But she's being a real big bitch.
Elaine or Nesta?
Nesta.
Oh, yeah, Nesta's being horrible in
Yes.
this book. Feyre thinks about how Elaine is doing much better now, but they are all still reeling from both the war and their father's death. It's clear that today Elaine is feeling a certain kind of way about Nesta and her departure from the family. And Nuala and Sarajwin kind of signal with their eyes for Feyre to stop pushing. Feyre backs off because Elaine seems to have opened up with these twins more than anyone else. And she realizes that those twins probably know Elaine better than Feyre herself does. As Feyre and Elaine begin to leave the kitchen with the loaf of bread that Elaine just made, Elaine plasters a big smile on her face as she admits the last time she spoke to Nesta, Nesta told her that she wasn't going to come to anything with regards to the family. And it's fine.
Yeah. But also one loaf of bread, that's a lot of people. I think you could get away with at least 3 loaves of bread.
I think maybe this is just like the first round.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think they
first round
made.
of bread.
I assume that their meals are massive. That's just what I see in my head.
It's got to be crazy.
Fortunately, in these worlds, I like that she has all of the characters, including the sexy women eating food.
Yes.
So Nesta also has told her that she has her own life and they have theirs, and that's the way it is. Elaine says she doesn't care, which is obviously a lie. But before they can continue the conversation, they reach the others who are all collecting together in the dining room. And those who hadn't seen Elaine in a bit come forward to greet her. Cass and more jovial and familiar, giving her big kisses and hugs. Reese smiling with a nod because he lives with her, so it's not a big greeting. Amryn giving her a smile and nod, which in Amryn's world is like a big hug.
Asriel emerged from the sitting room, a glass of wine in hand and wings tucked back to reveal his fine, yet simple black jacket and pants. I felt, more than saw, my sister go still as he approached. Her throat bobbed.
Go.
What?
Everyone's trying to act casual as Asriel approaches Elaine.
Imagine how hot he is. He's just walking through and everyone's just like falling out of their chairs, just like,
So yeah, I imagine too, Elaine is like seeing him in his out of his Illyrian outfit for the first time, and she's like, oh my. Oh, so everyone's trying to act like it's like they didn't just feel this weird energy between the two of them. The Moore starts, she's a little startled, and he starts walking towards Elaine, and they're all like, what's good? He simply takes the dish out of Elaine's hand, who herself looks very flustered. He tells her,
Can you imagine? I would just be like, as he went, just like took it out of my hands as I still was just holding out the nothing, just going,
which is kind of what she describes her doing. She's like, He tells her to sit, but she looks down and realizes she still has her apron on and seems to want to freshen up, so she runs out of the room. Well, now that's an interesting turn of events. As they all begin to sit, save for Elaine, Cassian reaches for food, but Azriel grabs his wrist. Wait. Cassian's confused, like, what are you talking about?
I'm just a big puppy. I just want to eat the food when the food comes out.
Azriel clarifies that they shouldn't eat until everyone is seated. Feyre, confused, asks Rhys down the bond what that was all about. Rhys tells her that he's sometimes sensitive, that his mother was a servant who was disregarded and ignored at best, that he was feeling compassion for Elaine, essentially. However, methinks there could be more to it.
Yeah, I would say so, because it's not like he's waiting for Nuala and Saradwin to come and sit down.
I would like to think that Nuala and Saradwin had some family they were going to, because they didn't get invited to dinner.
Yeah, they don't get to sit down. You're not waiting for them.
I'd like to think they were super invited, but they were like, no, we're going to go see our aunt.
Yeah, and they've got other shadow houses to go to.
Yes.
Yeah, they must.
I hope so. Elaine returns, and as they begin to eat together, Amren grumbles about how difficult it is to eat food, and that, quote, blood tastes better.
Aww.
Everyone at the table is trying not to look too perplexed as Amren continues that she also hates the process of eating. Feyre reflects on how the first food Amren had to eat, which was soup, made her vomit for hours afterwards.
Well, it's got to be like if you started all had like a big have chipped ham. If you had a big pile of chipped ham, how'd you feel?
I was thinking more if we had to just start drinking blood for sustenance.
Yeah.
Like that would probably make me throw up.
Yeah.
Chipped ham would probably also make me at least be sick for a while.
Is there mayo on the chipped ham? Mm-mm. So it's not like a slaw.
No, you put it on usually I think it's sandwiches.
Oh, okay. I'm so intrigued.
You have to Google it. Amren continues on that she doesn't like the, quote, unexpected results of eating.
Azriel and Cassian swapped a glance, then both seemed to find their plates very interesting, even as smiles tugged on their faces.
Elaine asks what Amren means, and Rhys says, don't answer that. She tries to prevent the conversation from going further, but Amren continues, disgusted at how often she has to empty her body, and everyone's trying to hold back their laughter as they realize Amren doesn't know how to pee and poop.
Yeah, I mean, how would she? And also, what comes out of you if you're just drinking? Like, is it blood pellets? Like, what comes out of you if you're only drinking blood, or does nothing come out of you?
I guess if she wasn't an actual fae, so her body may be inside. Remember I was saying maybe she was just like made out of like Jell-O inside?
Oh, yeah. Just snakes and goops.
Just goop. So now she has all of the stuff that faes have inside. And as Amren spits out that maybe she should have chosen a male form so she could, quote, whip it out easier, Elaine interrupts their deeply inappropriate for the dinner table talk by asking Amren whether she could have chosen a different form. This shuts everybody up because they don't often dare to ask Amren personal questions. But Amren says that yes, she could choose, and she chose the female form because it pleased her more. Morrigan,
also, she probably wants to fuck Varian. Like, if she turned into a goose, then what is she going to start doing? She's going to be honking on that donk? And you'd be like, Varian be like, I think this is very inappropriate.
I think she just meant
just
either
male or female. Yeah.
So when she says she chose the female form because it pleased her more, Morrigan looks down at her own boobs and is like, bet.
Yeah. I get it.
Get it. Her original form, she goes on, didn't have a sex. Elaine then asks if she has the ability to change forms, and Amren asks a question back that confuses the others.
Amren said after a moment,
"Are you asking out of curiosity for my past or your own future?"
Elaine's brow furrowed before I could leap in.
"What do you mean?" "There's no going back to being human, girl,"
Amren said, perhaps a tad gently.
Elaine sort of feels self-conscious about that, and she gets forceful for the second time that day, spitting out, "I don't know what you're talking about," to Amren. But it is clear that she's still considering if there's any way for her to return to fucking prison.
Yeah, it's just you gotta get past. I know that she'll get past him eventually, but like, give it up. He is not that interesting.
She's gonna be alive and sexy in like 300 years and being like, "You remember when I wanted to go back to Grayson?"
Yeah, and be like, glow up. I mean, we've all had a glow up. I mean, or at least a lot of our friends have, of just like, man, remember what we used to do? Very glad we don't do that anymore. She's gonna have a glow up.
She is. Rhys again scolds Amren with the help of joking from Cassie and Azriel about Amren being the size of a mouse. Everyone returns to laughter, kind of easing the tension that was about to start happening. And Feyre watches as Elaine kind of brightens back up, gets light in her eyes again. It's in these moments that Mass shows us also that despite Azriel's somber demeanor, that he actually has a dry sense of humor. He's a real Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
Ian, will you put up a picture of Azriel's body with Stephen Wright's head? She's very aware of Elaine's emotional progress and thinks about how important it is to see that continue. She asks down the bond if Rhys will join her for a walk after dinner.
And honestly, we'll take the snark. I take snark over baby talk any day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like Elaine is actually kind of growing a little bit, and also kind of, I don't even know if she's growing. We're going to find out about her, but I do feel like she is putting on this facade of being like, because that's what people wanted her to do, but she actually has all of these other things in her head.
Yeah. That's why she's just not saying I'm here, but that's the problem.
Because they want her to be a baby who plays in blocks.
Yeah.
They want her that.
And makes the bread. Plays the blocks.
She makes her flowers. We cut then to Feyre and Rhys at Nesta's apartment's front door.
Uh-oh.
When they realize she's not there, Feyre hesitates, but then decides to ask Rhys to seek her out using his powers because she didn't want to violate her privacy, but she also really needs to find her this evening. Rhys spots her with his brain tentacles.
Yeah, awesome.
And winnows them to the front of a seedy tavern. And gotta say, sounds like my kind of place.
I mean, this is when I start to like understand Nesta more.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, I've been there before. All right, that's why you're so aggravating, because I also was very aggravating to many people for quite some time.
And I'm pretty sure I've been to the Wolf's Den before.
Yeah.
There are wine rooms in this city,
Rhys said, cringing.
There are concert halls, fine restaurants, pleasure clubs, and yet your sister. Yep, Nesta's at the Wolf's
Just like,
Den.
when the moon is right, like a big pizza pie. Fuck you, love. Nah, love doesn't exist.
Fuck my sister and fuck those hot, sexy batmen.
Sexy Faye, they don't want to sex me.
And I don't want to fuck them. No.
Man, I wonder if like this magical, like I know that the hangovers must be better, right? Or do they just not?
Well,
I know they feel bad afterwards.
It seems as though both Cassian and Moore can drink all night and then just get up and work. So I think that they have Fae powers of being, wouldn't that be cool? You just get really drunk and then you're done.
Yeah, I was 22 once.
I'm sorry. I did not have that experience at 22. I was sick constantly.
Oh yeah, you just work through it. You're just like, and then you like high five each other because of how sick you are.
And everybody else is also sick around you, so you don't feel that weird. But also, Rhys is being kind of a snob.
Yeah, of course he is. Can you imagine being that rich for that long? Like, we already say, like, in our short human lives, people forget what it's like to not have money pretty fast. So, like, imagine after centuries of having money.
Come on, go hang out the Wolf's Den.
Yeah,
Come on.
I bet it's fun.
Come on, Rhys. Feyre decides, though, it would be best if Rhys waits outside, so maybe Nesta would feel slightly less ambushed.
Rhys kissed my brow.
If someone propositions you, tell them we'll both be free in an hour. Ach!
I waved him off. banking my powers to a near whisper within me.
Have you ever heard that expression before? I thought maybe, I was like, was this a typo? But apparently in Scottish culture, it's an exclamation or an expression of surprise, contempt, annoyance, impatience, or disagreement.
Oh, so it's like an "oh, you."
Yeah, I think it's sort of like, shoo.
Alk, och.
Och, och. Och?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's och.
It's probably och because it's like a Loch Ness.
It's like ack.
I mean, I love
being Kathy.
Yes, I love chocolate. I love coffee. I understand. Ack, 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 ack. And men always disappoint me.
Yep. So the next chapter is still within Feyre, and now she's inside this so-called wolf's den. She reflects on how she's aware that Nesta doesn't have any real friends, and that she cavorts with new strangers every night at these various pleasure halls. Been there.
Yeah. Man, yeah. We used to be degenerates, yeah.
Yeah, I was sad. I was sad all the time.
I cried every day, man. It was... Wow. Yeah, I really wish I could go back there.
Yeah, it's great.
Man, you remember how much you used to just cry in public? Like, I don't cry just like randomly in public all the time anymore.
I used to just also, not that it's bad, I still kind of had fun going and drinking like whiskey on the rocks alone in bars, but you can only do that for so long, you know?
Yeah, I mean, now it's like I would understand like with a nice cocktail and a book. You know, you sit, you have a book read. With the kind of books that I read, I feel like having like the actual physical book is never good because then people are like, what kind of monster fuckery is this? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm that guy.
And you're over there reading and going,
and then I just, slip out of my seat.
Yeah, that's awkward. Well, she spots, that's not what Nesta's doing, even though she does like a romance novel.
Yeah.
She's in the back of this room playing cards with 3 high fae males.
I did used to play dice a lot with strangers.
In the back alley?
Like in the back of bars, I'd be smoking cigarettes and playing dice.
That's fun. That's pretty sexy.
Yeah, right?
Because I find this scene very sexy with her just like holding court with these males.
Oh, yeah.
Like just like eagle-eyed over her cards. Oh, I think she looks probably pretty hot in this.
Yeah.
Rhys, being a busybody, tells Feyre down their bond that they are likely, quote, 3 wealthy young bucks looking to get their kicks. He also tells her that Nesta is beating them at cards quite effectively, which lets us as the reader kind of get an idea that she's not like intimidated or harassed.
She's
or
in charge.
danger.
Or she's in charge of herself at this point in time.
Yeah. I think it's in a way to understand that we are not to be concerned with Nesta's behavior, that she's like, that you don't want Feyre to be like, why are you ignoring this like poor, she's like being like cornered by men. No, Nesta's like holding her own court in these places. Nesta
in my head, I see her like in this environment. She's like a Calamity Jane, where she's just like, no, she fits in. Everybody knows her. Yeah. It's where everybody knows her name. Like we've all had those dive bars where it's like I used to hang out in a dive bar called Second Chance. That a lot of people would be like, "What? You just hang out there alone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I literally know all the dudes that work behind the bar. Yeah. They make sure that I'm fine. I will run my mouth off sometimes, but they make sure I'm fine. It's fine."
Oh, I miss Second Chance.
I know.
Is it still there?
No, it closed during the pandemic.
That sucks. Maybe they'll get a third chance and then they'll call it that. So Nesta spots Feyre and doesn't seem like super shocked and could probably sense that the High Lord and Lady were there well before Feyre walked in, and instead regards her with contempt. The 3 males, however, look shocked and a bit frightened when they see Feyre approach. They all bow their heads, and I love the image of Nesta calmly adjusting her cards in that same moment as the males are sort of like, oh no. Feyre asks the males to leave, accidentally calling them gentlemen, which they seem to notice because that's a human term. But they all immediately oblige, and the sisters are left alone at the table.
I leaned back in the chair, wood groaning.
So which one was going home with you tonight?
Nesta snapped her cards together, setting the stack face down on the table.
I hadn't decided.
Icy, flat words. The perfect accompaniment to the expression on her face. This is me and I'm mad.
Good brows going.
Yeah? Thank you. Oh, yeah. You look like you're about to puke. She might be about to do that too. I don't know.
Yeah. After a silent standoff for a few minutes, they both kind of just refuse to speak. And then Feyre finally lays it out. Why didn't you come to the dinner Elaine invited you to? She brushes it off with a dismissal and a smile. I wanted to hear the musicians play.
Bitchy response.
They begin to argue, Feyre asking why she'd rather be in a place like this. And Nesta kind of retorts, what's a place like this mean? Throughout their rapidly increasing volume, Nesta is drinking a brown liquid in a tumbler, so she's drinking.
I also feel like that Sarah does such a great job, and yes, I will always call her by her first name because
call her
we're
Rara.
besties. Yeah, Rara told me to tell you guys. She's never spoken to me, and I don't know how she actually thinks, but I think that it is great that she writes that you can't, especially siblings and especially sisters, you can't force a sister to do anything. And so it is such a minefield between sisters sometimes to try to communicate when there's issues about. As someone that has both a brother and a sister, it's such different ways of communication that you have to have between each other. It is just if they're doing something that you don't agree with, if you just go I don't agree with what you're doing, they're not going to stop.
No.
And so you just have to figure out how do I manipulate you while the other sister is oh, you're trying to manipulate me now? Oh, great. I just think she does a great job.
Yeah, totally. And they have this sort of back and forth where they are trying, Feyre's trying to, she's almost Nesta can tell that she's being condescending, even though Feyre's trying to act like she's being just gentle, but Nesta's fuck you.
Yes.
With this shit. Before they go down a long fight about why Elaine wouldn't want to come into a tavern to have dinner because Nesta said, well, Nesta, she could have just come here to have dinner. What's her problem? Feyre cuts it off. She wants Nesta's presence at Solstice in 2 days' time. What does she want to make an appearance? Let's just lay it out. Nesta finds this amusing and makes Feyre know this by no shortage of snorting and rolling her eyes. She asks Feyre are you bribing me? And Feyre corrects her, no, I'm reasoning with you.
Oh, sisters.
She reiterates what she has told Elaine, that she has her own life and they have theirs, and she won't be doing this.
She settled back in her seat, crossing her arms.
Why do I have to be a part of your merry little band? You're my sister.
Again, that empty, cold look. I waited.
I'm not going to your party,
she said. I'm not going to your party. I just imagine the way a sister would look you dead in the eyes, and then I just imagine a brother's response would be, I'm not going to your party.
Feyre tries one last attempt by starting to suggest that their father would want them to, but before she finishes it, Nesta says, don't you finish that sentence.
Oh, struck the wrong chord. Can't strike the wrong sister chord because then the sister claps shut.
Yes, so bringing up their father seems to have struck a nerve in Nesta, and we've already seen this to some extent, that Nesta being unable to cope with or process the death of her father. And to be fair, she did watch him have his neck snapped inches in front of her. So
yeah, and I'm all get over it.
You would think, you might have to be thinking about a couple things from that.
I guess you might have a dream or two. If you're weak.
I mean, whatever. Feyre and a hovering cauldron right next to her. She was at least getting to stand on the ground.
Everybody's going through shit, you know? Nesta's nose crinkled with undiluted rage as she snarled.
Leave. Feyre realizes that they are about to cause a scene in this tavern where everyone is already watching them since she is the High Lady and everything. She is shaken by this rage from Nesta and tries one last time, quietly asking her to please come as she's leaving the table. My rent,
Nesta said when I'd walked 2 steps. I paused.
What about your rent?
She swigged from her glass.
It's due next week, in case you forgot.
She was completely serious.
Are you completely serious right now? Feyre tells her that if she wants her rent, she can show up to the dinner and she'll get her banknote.
Ugh.
Nesta's at a loss on this one. She can't pay in blocks.
Nope, she certainly can't.
Feyre turns and feels every eye on her in the whole place. Every wolf in this den is going to be gossiping about this interlude for the rest of the week. And what a fun holiday gossip fest to
Oh
have.
my God, anybody's going to be talking
Have
about
you
it.
heard the High Lady was at the wolf's
Oh my God,
den the other
who
night?
needs a Dumois when you just have the one tavern?
But she holds her head high even through the stairs and as she exits.
I felt my sister's gaze piercing the space between my shoulder blades the entire walk to that front door and the entire flight home.
Ooh, Nesta's big mad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, also, you're getting your rent paid.
You don't have to work. They're paying for your life for you to just sit in this tavern and drink all day and do whatever the fuck you want. Just show up to the dinner. Just come to the dinner. You get over yourself, Nesta.
And we learn much more about her feelings on this
Yes.
in the next book. But during this book, you're just like, what is
Wrong with you? Because again, I know that she went through trauma, but also like maybe you can talk to the other people
'Cause
who
they all
also
did
just
too.
went through this huge trauma too. Like work with each other. But I know when you're not in the mental place to do that, no one can force you to want help or to get help. And but which is part of what we learned in this book.
And we might learn a little bit more about what we would call self-loathing in the next book.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll stop here. But this whole book, just I don't know why, but I keep thinking of this song at the end of West Side Story where they're all like looking out. I think it's with a lot of medley musicals where everybody's looking out separate windows and they're all like harmonizing or they're doing like different choruses. Da 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 na na na. Well, they began it. And then there's just like Anita's in the window like, I'm going to get my kicks tonight. It's like all the different characters just like experiencing the day before solstice.
I mean, I get it. I just saw Les Mis at the Pantages, so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and everybody's singing about war.
The Jets are gonna have their day tonight. Or their way, I guess would make more sense. The Jets are gonna have their way tonight.
Yeah. Oh my God. Are the Jets here and the Sharks?
Well, that when I started then watching the video of it, then I just started imagining the Jets and Sharks as Illyrians. And now I really want a Sondheim-style music.
And then they all start
musical about
kissing.
Valaris.
Yeah, but then there's kissing. Oh, yeah, except they ain't snapping. But their siphons are glaring.
Yeah. And then they kiss.
And then they kiss.
That's it.
And that's the end of A Perfect Story.
The end.